So Mindi, welcome to the Brews Business Podcast. Thank you for coming here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Very, very excited. So we're going to learn a little bit from you on some health and wellness. You do some neuropathic practice stuff, some natural remedies. We've talked about a whole backstory before we got started. Before you guys got here, we were in the studio kind of messing around, and she's shared some interesting things. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
All right. Well, I'm Dr. Mindi Salvino. I'm a naturopathic doctor. My practice is on Main Street in Jinx. I have been practicing. I've been at my new location in Jinx a little over a year. It took a year to build the building out. I've been practicing almost 8 years. I started initially doing consultations from my couch, and it's just grown into something really, really amazing. I have the Pure Health Collective. I outgrew that space within maybe 5 or 6 weeks of occupying it, and I expanded into Glacier Holistic Bodyworks, which is kind of filling in the gaps in what I offered in my practice, so that people come from all over. They come from all over the country to see me, and they're very, very sick, and they don't want to have to shuttle around all over the place to see a bunch of different practitioners to get what they need. So I wanted to have everything that I could possibly offer, mind, body, and spirit, in one place where they could come spend the day, feel loved, feel attended to, and not have to drive all over the place when they don't have the energy to spare. So, And then I am going to open a Pilates studio here in the next month. It should be opening as well. And it's all right in the same street frontage in Jinx.
I was talking about how we all started in a garage or a basement or a living room.
Shoffice.
What's the shoffice?
Shed office.
Oh, okay.
This is just like a portable building we stuck in the backyard, and boom, it's our office.
Perfect.
Yeah, it worked great. I mean, we all started, like you said, in the garage, something. Yeah. I mean, it works great, builds character. And then at some point you look back and you're like, oh, wow. One, I'm very thankful to not still be there. Yeah. Two, like we said earlier, we're thankful to have the problems we have now. Yes. Like, yeah, I might have to pay a little higher rent or whatever, but this is cool to have a space we grew into and to see a little physical something where we have kind of grown up a little bit. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been up to this year?
So this year, last August is when the Pure Health Collective officially opened in the new location. So it's just been hiring staff, putting training in place. Now that I had more room, I sought out more therapies to offer to make it more complete. So there's no gaps in what I can offer people when they're sick. So I've been doing that and planning the floor plans and picking colors and everything for the other two businesses to open those.
So did you grew up in Arkansas, right?
I did.
And did you graduate high school, college? Did you go to college?
Mm-hmm. So I went to a school that's in the backwoods of Arkansas. It's a town of 116 people.
Oh, wow.
I was raised as a survivalist. My dad was a master gunsmith, and he didn't want anything to do with people. So I've been hunting and shooting.
I like your dad.
James is sounds about right. Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah. Since I was little, he just took us as far out as he could away from people. And that's where I went to school. My graduating class had 13 people. 11 graduated.
I had 1,300.
Wow. That's like our county.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had 32.
I was like 20 something.
That's crazy.
It was small. It was great. You knew everybody.
My graduation, my high school graduation
was better.
It was 6 to 8 hours. It was a whole day thing.
Dude, they were trying to string hours out longer than like 30 minutes. So like, is there anything else we can add to this BS graduation? It was like, this is great. Let's go. Nobody wants to be here anyways.
Yeah, you graduate in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was great.
Done.
It's beautiful.
So what brought you to Oklahoma?
I was living in Little Rock, and it got dangerous. It was like during like the gang times in Little Rock, and there was a series of really terrifying events that happened while I lived there. And my brother lived in Tulsa, and he's like, you should move to Tulsa. You'll love it. So I was like, okay, I'll go. I'll stay a year. I'll go somewhere better. And I've been here almost 20 years. So this is home. Yeah.
Tulsa's not terrible.
Tulsa's
great.
not terrible.
It's really not.
It's wonderful. It's
it has a little bit of everything.
Family.
Yes. Good environment. It's not super expensive. Of course, it's not cheap anymore. It used to be cheap, but
we're still on the cheaper side. I mean, more affordable.
National
side,
average, we're pretty low.
For sure.
We got to stop saying that on the podcast, man. Everybody's going to move to Tulsa.
They already are.
They already are.
They already
Yeah,
are. It's too late.
Yeah,
All these California people like coming here. I got behind every idiot driver, and that irritates me more than anything. Driving does, but
back whenever we used to know how to drive here in Oklahoma, that was like 5 years ago.
yeah.
There wasn't so many people.
Yeah.
Hey, Chance, do you think I could drink an ignition switch?
You could what?
Drink an ignition switch.
I don't know. Probably if
It's pretty good.
If it's by the Reef,
The Neff.
Neff.
Neff
It's hard to
Brew.
read.
It's okay.
I need glasses.
This is a Belgian style ale.
Oh,
That's
it's
pretty
nice.
good.
What do you have today?
This is gluten free too.
What do I always have?
Modelo.
There you go.
Who am I
Look,
kidding?
bam.
If you would have said it, it would have been racist.
Of course. Yeah, but
Is that because he's Mexican?
I've
He
known,
drinks
Absolutely.
Modelo's?
I've known him for dang near 15 years. I think I can get by with that a little bit.
That's funny because if you did that, no one would know.
No.
They'd be like, Chance is an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think.
If he showed up with anything but Modelo Corona, I'd be like, that's not for me.
Yeah.
I would already know that.
I've got a whole stack of Modelo's just for you.
Oh, man.
And
Well, I
did you know
appreciate
there's tahine in there too?
Oh, man.
Just for you?
Might have to go help out that second beer.
Yeah, it's in the
Anyways.
pantry to the right of the microwave.
Okay, well,
If
it's
you
good
need
to know. I might need a commercial break here in a little bit.
So 20 years in Tulsa. Said you were going to move and end up. It's not terrible.
Tulsa's great.
So what are you, I guess, doing now? Like,
Well,
as
okay,
of last-
so you're in a little bit in the medicine. You're not a doctor, so you
I'm-
can't prescribe per se or
I'm
whatever.
a naturopathic doctor. So Oklahoma
Well-
is what you call a non-licensure state. So they will not, even naturopathic medical doctors that are in MDs that go to a medical school, they don't have those in Tulsa. They're
Mhm.
usually East and West Coast. They can't prescribe here either. Their scope of practice is the exact same as mine is. So I don't prescribe any medications at all. Everything I do is finding the root of the issue and fixing it without medication.
Give me an example.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, I'll give you a great example. So someone comes in and they say, I can't get out of bed. I'm exhausted all the time. I'm on thyroid medication. My anxiety's through the roof. I can't sleep at night. I would check their urine and saliva pH. I mark it on an assimilation chart. And this person, either their urine, their saliva, or both, is going to be way too acidic. Just by the symptoms that they tell me, I already know that they're too acidic. There are, depending on where you are on this chart, if they're both on the same side, acid versus alkaline, or if they're split, there's a whole slew of symptoms that causes. So when they start rattling off their symptoms, I already know what their chart's going to look like before I even take their samples. And it's not difficult to fix, but if your pH is off, it can cause everything from like burping, belching, gas, ulcerative colitis, IBS, intense anxiety, paranoia, issues going to sleep, staying asleep. Your hormones will be a wreck. Your thyroid won't function.
and this is from pH.
Just your pH being off. And it takes me maybe 3.5 months to correct it.
It doesn't matter if you're male or female.
Doesn't matter.
Like, no.
Doesn't matter.
Hmm.
No. And
So you said you take saliva and your urine pH.
correct.
How many different pHs do we have?
Well, I don't know how many. I mean, you have.
you have the scale.
So, right, but
From-
you're testing your saliva and your pH. Those are
Mhm.
two different spectrums, I guess, of the.
Of your
Like-
digestive tract.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
The beginning
So-
and the end.
Right.
And I don't want to call you out, but I'm going to do it. I like
Do
you
it.
very much. I just met you.
Yeah,
but-
you're fine. You're fine.
I heard you talking about alkaline drops.
Yes.
Anytime I see anybody that's drinking alkaline water, I want to just knock it out of their hand because our urinary and salivary pH, it has to be 6.3 to 6.6 in order to have enough stomach acid to process our food and break it down. And our good, strong stomach acid, like plenty of it and good quality and quantity, is what protects our body from parasites and bacteria that we ingest all day long. And if we need to be 6.3 to 6.6 and we're dumping a 9 or a 12 in there consistently with alkalized water, we are obliterating our body's ability to break its food down and to protect itself. So the alkaline water they sell in the grocery store, you're paying $4 a bottle for parasites and constipation, basically. And then you have to come in and I fix you.
You're blowing my mind.
And it isn't like 9 times out of 10, it's just because they put baking soda basically in there
Yeah.
to raise the pH of the water?
I don't know exactly what they do to alkalize it. I know some people do baking soda that have a lot of like reflux or heartburn, but that's a pH issue also. If you have different organs that are designed to hold different things. So the example I use is the tonsils. The tonsils are a huge hub for your lymphatic system. They're kind of like the guard at the gate for what enters your body for inhaled allergies. But they're also our storage facility for sulfur. One of its main jobs is to store sulfur. It's so important that God gave us a storage warehouse in the body to make sure we don't run out. If we run low on sulfur, the tonsils are like, hey, we got one job. We're supposed to hold sulfur. We're out of sulfur. And they start to swell. And that's like your body's warning light telling you, hey, I'm low on what I'm designed to be holding. So when I have these children that are brought into me and their tonsils are massively inflamed and we're going to look at food allergies. I test for allergies and things in my office. But 9 times out of 10, if they don't have a strep issue, which I'm very well versed in strep, but if they don't have a strep issue, 9 times out of 10, if you put them on a homeopathic sulfur or a sulfur supplement and their pH is corrected where they can actually absorb it, their tonsils will go back to normal. It's just like a warning light. So the stomach is designed to hold quality and quantity of stomach acid. And if you have too low of stomach acid, and you're too alkaline and it's too low, you get heartburn. If it's too acidic and there's too little, you get reflux and GERD. So they kind of lump those in the same thing, the same umbrella, but they're two opposite ends of the problem spectrum.
Everyone's like, let's just cut out your tonsils and give you some Tums.
Yes.
So that's what I was going to ask. What if you've had your tonsils removed?
If you've had your tonsils removed,
would you have to supplement?
You would supplement every day.
Okay.
Yeah,
have you?
Every day.
No. Thankfully, I never did. My sister and my brother both did.
Yeah.
Have you heard of these K8 alkaline machines?
A Kangen machine?
K8, whatever it is.
Oh, no, K8.
KE or whatever it is. It's a machine you can plug into your faucet outlet or whatever. And it's supposed to balance the water and filter it and make it alkaline friendly or whatever. Something with the pH.
Like the osmosis waters?
Yeah, there's a place called the Water Store. They sell these, and then there's a bunch. It's a whole I think MLM thing. Negatively charged hydrogen antioxidant alkaline water.
Yeah. So hydrogen water is great. I am not a fan of anything that's going to alkalize your water. Water is one of the main first talking points that I talk about when people come in because it's so important. And I tell them to get a water distiller, a tabletop water distiller, a really, really good one that'll last you 20 years is like $200. You can get it on Amazon. When the water exits that distiller, it is hydrogen and oxygen, and that is it. It is the definition of water. So there's no extra work that your liver or your kidneys has to do to process this water and get use of it. So it's deeply tissue saturating water, but because it's been stripped of everything, it's looking for something to bond to. So when you drink it, especially my blue-eyed people, when you drink it, they have toxicity issues, which we can get into. But when you drink this water,
it's not even $200. Just something from Amazon.
Yeah, that's the exact one I have right there.
So this one is a COZ 307, fancy stainless steel water distiller, countertop home tabletop distiller. $113 on Amazon. There's one for $114, $111, different designs. Yep. They all pretty much just do the same thing.
They all pretty much do the same thing.
Is it like those Brita filters you put in the fridge, but just tabletop wise, or?
Oh, well, it's just tabletop. So I have mine on a tiny little table that's kind of hidden in the kitchen, and then I have a 5-gallon glass water dispenser. So I keep the distiller running all the time, and I dump it into the giant container that has a spigot on it, and then I draw from that. But
because glass over plastic, because the plastic can bleed into the water.
You're exactly right. Yeah. So one of the benefits of distilled water is that it's looking for something to bond to. So it's going to bond to toxins in your body. Right. So it's going to help carry these out with your waste. But if you're drinking it from plastic, it's going to leach all the contaminants from the plastic.
So what about distilled water in the gallons from the store?
Don't touch it.
Really? So it doesn't really count?
It doesn't count. It's more potently toxic.
So what, drink out of glass?
Glass only.
I heard too that the those coffee cups that everyone drinks out of Starbucks, Quick Trip, whatever, doesn't matter. I heard that they there's microns of metals and stuff or whatever, like as it starts to slowly break down, just because it's a liquid touching a solid, right? It starts to break down, and how like there's a filter and there's metals that break down into it, and that's what you drink. And like, you heard about that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So does it taste any different after it's been distilled?
It is I always tell people to get a distiller, and it will make you a water snob because it is the crispest,
My
cleanest
water comes from the counter.
I say that because
it's so good.
because it's true, dude. Good water is, oh my god.
I feel bad because I gave her a
Dude,
water
you had-
bottle.
well, yeah, that's true.
A
But-
Nestle
I mean,
water bottle.
I haven't opened it.
I know.
You can still have it back.
Yeah.
But that's true, and you know, I bring that up because for us, we get water. There's like a natural spring in Broken Arrow, and we go get water from there. And anytime we don't have water, anytime we don't have water from there, I mean, all of us, you can see our water consumption just drops because like the water tastes like crap everywhere else, and we're like, we like that water. It tastes like dirt, and like it just tastes good, and that's why I asked if it tastes any different. But now I'm gonna have to try it because man, I like good water.
It does taste completely different. In my practice, even the water machines that I have for people to get drinks of water, I have distilled water delivered in glass containers. That's the only thing I'll have in the office.
Oh wow!
So is the ionized structure still H2O, just purely H2O, or does it change the?
It's H2O, but it's just contaminant free.
Okay.
It's just hydrogen and oxygen, and that is it.
Right.
There's nothing else in it. You do have to add mineral content back into it because it's been stripped of everything.
Right.
And the way that I have people do that is to put a pinch of Celtic salt in each carafe, and that covers you for your minerals.
Cool.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
Well, I know a little bit about this because I follow Gary Brecka. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
So like that's what's got me like kind of more toward the healthy side. And dude, he breaks it down too. Like it's crazy how no one ever talks about it. And he's like her or vice versa, but just well rounded with the knowledge of like how water can be ionized, and because he uses like what is it called, a water alnema. Is that right?
I'm not sure what he uses.
So he stirs it. Calls it mother water, I think, is what he refers to it as. It's just a glass rod with water in it. Oh. And he uses that. So if he goes traveling,
he takes it in his pocket and he takes it in there and he winds it around.
Yes.
I know the name of these. I just went to a certification course in DC 2 weeks ago, and the doctor that was teaching it had one in his pocket. Yeah. And I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah. He says when he travels, because you don't have access to it all the time, but I think it's like a water enema or something like that in the realm of it. And he just stirs it for 30 seconds and it restructures the water.
Mm-hmm. And you can get structured water bottles. There's so many studies that have been done on structured water. So there was a scientist in Japan who was taking water and speaking either like love and encouragement to it or ignoring it or negativity, and then freezing it. And the ice crystals that were created, the hateful words were like mangled and smashed. And the ones where you spoke like love and gratitude to it was beautiful and elaborate.
Yeah. I've seen that. Have you heard of that?
No.
You need to talk to your plants that are dead now.
I don't have dead plants.
No, he does talk very nice to his plants. I've seen it.
I love my plants.
He loves his plants.
I love my plants.
These are dead.
But it's the same concept.
They would be if they weren't fake.
There was a
I came in here and it bothered me how sad your plants got after Bobby left. But that's okay. That's for another episode.
You got to manage those things, man.
Yeah, you have to love them.
He was.
It's like
he
a
actually.
kid.
So
it is.
back when Leslie
love
worked
your
here,
plants, man.
Back when Leslie worked here, she was the plant manager.
Yeah,
she was in charge of bringing in the plants throughout the year, maintaining them, making sure that they changed out and they're healthy, whatever else, and watered them, whatever. And then Bobby came in and he was like, oh, I can be the plant manager. So then there was a plant manager and assistant to the plant manager. And then Leslie left.
They were happy.
And
plants.
so Leslie got fired from plant manager and Bobby got promoted to plant manager. And then Bobby was doing great. And then he got fired from plant manager because they were all dying. So I'm like, all right, I just can't have a good plant manager here, man.
Sounds like a tough job.
Dude, you have to do it yourself. I mean, I will say the only plants in my office that look like great are mine. Everybody else's plants are kind of like.
Can I come see you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you do anything with like hormones and
Everything.
thyroids and?
Absolutely.
Okay.
She's already got one client. When I was reading the show notes on the way over here, I mean, I read them before too, because I think it was November 3rd. I think we were supposed to first interact.
I lost my voice.
Yeah.
It's okay. That episode, that's what I think that one, the last we swapped with this one.
Wait, was that? Was that episode?
That was that episode.
Oh, I'm glad
it was that episode we
air.
are not publishing.
Good.
Oh, wow.
It was almost like right at a year from when we started the podcast. So it was just us three, and we kind of got a little too carried away with
The beers were
sobriety,
whiskeys.
I guess you could say.
The beers were whiskeys.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was.
We recorded for
really
3
good.
hours.
3 hours.
That's awesome.
But it was so good for us.
What?
It was like therapy.
Put it in the archives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've watched it 4 or 5 times. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
So,
Yes.
Is it good?
Yes.
I need to finish the other
That's
half.
very good.
That's awesome.
What led you into this whole world?
Hold on. We're gonna sell those episodes, so you got to pay us to be able to watch the behind.
Oh my gosh, I want no part of this.
We're gonna have like an OnlyFans of Brews and Business.
I want no part of this.
Oh my God.
No part of this. You can blur my face.
But go ahead, Abel. Go
I
ahead.
think it's kind of brilliant.
How did you get into the realm of natural medicine and what I lovingly call witchcraft medicine? Because I'm like, it's the stuff that works.
It's not the first
Right.
time I've heard that.
But I love it. That's how I grew up. I worked in a natural medicine, herb medicine store for like 9 years. So I believe in it. I will stay away from medical doctors as much as possible and come see anybody who's willing to give me something natural, something that sounds like witchcraft. I'm down to try. You give me some pills. I'm like, yeah, no,
See,
I'm
I'm
not
right
taking
there
that
with
crap.
you,
I'm
man.
not taking that poison. I'll take this over here.
I barely take ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Like
same.
maybe a couple times a year.
Got a headache, drink some more water.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for real.
Stretch, and drink water.
Yeah. So how'd you get into this?
So I was in dentistry for 18 years. I was a holistic dental hygienist, and I was working in a dentist's office who did biologic dentistry. So this is root canal toxicity, heavy metal toxicity. There's
That's why she's got amazing
fluoride.
teeth.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's no fluoride, and so we work with like the biomeridians of the body. If you want to get into that, there's really some fascinating stuff I can tell you about teeth and your biomeridians. But people were asking me when you have patients in a holistic practice, they're very health conscious. So they were asking me like, "Hey, Mindy, you think I should take this herb, or what do you think about this?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I have no idea." So I started naturopathic school at night to be able to answer their questions. And then it became very evident very quickly that that was supposed to be a stepping stone to get me to here. And this is what I'm meant to do.
That's awesome.
But I would never even have known that naturopathic medicine existed had I not had that job.
Yeah.
Because they don't teach it. They don't talk
Right.
about it. It's not common knowledge.
Right. Like I know I grew up with my mom making all kinds of weird tinctures and things and whatnot. And it's like a culture thing passed down. Right. But in the Western world, it's all Western medicine. It's all, modern medicine. And then I got lucky with the store right next to my mom's store was, herbs, natural medicine. And one day I'm like 14 and she's like, "Hey, I really need some help. Like just to back end work. Could you come work, 2-3 hours after school with me?" And I ended up there for like 9 years. I fell in love with all of it. And I was like, this is awesome. Like it's crazy. That she used to have a saying, she's like, God made a plant for everything. It's just a matter of finding the right plant and, finding the right process to do it. And I just learned a lot. And I was like, I'm one of those few that grew up with all these crazy things that my mom would do and then went to work in it. But then realistically, like my wife now, she's like, I had no idea any of that. Now she like loves it and she's all about it. But same thing, like they don't teach it. You're just like, "Oh, you're sick. We'll go to the doctor." The doctor's like, "Well, here's your prescription for whatever."
Yeah.
And then there goes everything. And now you got all kinds of other issues,
yeah.
right? And it's like, yeah, I'm just not about that life. And I think a lot of people are starting to turn towards that more natural medicine route, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
they are for sure. And it's kind of interesting what you said about how there's a plant for each ailment.
Mm-hmm.
And just in innate design, we have clues. So like if somebody comes in and they're very, very like a very nervous, jittery person, fearful, afraid of everything, aspen tincture is traditionally used for people that are like that. And if you look at the aspen tree, like think about the quaking aspen when the wind blows and they look like they're shivering. That's the way super nervous, fearful people are. When you are trying to help somebody focus and remain attentive, clematis is an herb that you can use for that. And the clematis vine is all over the place. It's squiggly and it grows everywhere in every little crack. And it's like the ADHD of plants, but it's telling you what it's for.
Yeah, invasive and always to it.
Yeah, it's there's little clues to guide us to what we're supposed to use.
Are we allowed to be skeptical?
Absolutely.
Because it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
It does sound crazy until you use it.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
agreed.
Like I used to be very skeptical. Hell, I was skeptical while I was working there. Like I was like, there's no way any of this crap that I make actually works. Like, these people are just whatever. And then, one day you're just kind of like, you know what? I don't feel right. I've heard her say this a million times. I'm going to try some of this crap. And then you're just like, holy cow, that works.
It works.
Yeah, that worked.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, I had to take a lot more than just 2 tiny little pills. But nonetheless, I'm like, oh, wow. I went in actually not too long ago. Wow, it's been a while now, probably a few years. But I was like, man, my heart's hurting. And I told my wife, and she's like, well, you need to go in there and get some Hawthorne and CoQ10 and get on some heart medicine. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then so like all this stuff stuck to me. But at first I was like, this is all just witchcraft. It's all BS. But then, like I said, you start using it and you're like, first of all, I feel way better than any medicine that they give you. Like even ibuprofen. I hate taking it because it just feels like, yeah, sure, the headache's gone, but I just feel like, I don't know, my stomach don't feel great. I just feel off.
It's not good for your stomach, though, is it?
I don't know. It just makes me feel
Like the
weird.
lining of your stomach. And
You take enough of it, you can burn a hole through it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See? That's what I mean, dude. But all that stuff, and then you take natural medicine. It's like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't work instantly the way that ibuprofen would, but at the same time, it's like, well,
It's not blocking the receptors. It's actually
right.
going out and fixing the
You're
problem.
fixing something.
So we talked a little bit about pH correction.
Yes.
That's
basically the root of everything.
What's biofeedback, ozone, Rife therapy?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So biofeedback, I have a quantum bioresonance scanning machine. So I'm going to explain what it is in basic terms.
Exactly what he just did.
So it is a machine. Everything that exists in the entire universe has a frequency that it emits. It's like a fingerprint to that one item. And this machine has a database of millions of frequencies. So what I do is I connect you to the machine. I click, what I want to check, and it sends an electrical current into your body. It takes inventory of all the frequencies that are present, sends it back to the machine, Bluetooths it to my computer, and my comprehensive scan produces a report that's somewhere between 70 and 150 pages of information on your body. And we go
Looks
through
like my marketing reports.
We go through it line by line together. So that's what biofeedback is. It will tell me so, everybody's talking about like the white lung disease is coming from China and it's going to be the next COVID and all this stuff's on the news.
Actually, no.
Oh, well.
I don't watch the news.
Welcome to 2023.
Yeah.
So,
This is what's going to ruin the election next time.
I heard that there's something that was ramping up in China, but is that what it is?
So it's mycoplasma pneumonia. They've isolated what it is. And that, it's new. It's coming to America. There's cases in Ohio. I have been seeing this on my biofeedback scans for the last 8 years. It's been here the entire time. It causes wheezing, difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, the same symptoms that they're talking about, but it's not new. It's been here forever. And the protocols that I have in my office
It's going to be
created,
new. It's going to be like, oh my God, it's
kill
here.
It gets rid of it. So I just want to put that out there. Like, what's going to lessen your immune system is being afraid, like fear and stressing about stuff. But it's been here for years. It's not anything that's new.
Okay. So that's biofeedback. What's ozone and Rife therapy? Those are separate.
Yes, they're separate. So ozone therapy, I've been physician level ozone certified for almost a decade. I do probably more ozone and Rife than anybody in the country. My therapy room has 11 units. I have 2 downstairs. It is a naturally occurring gas. It is different than atmospheric ozone, which is toxic. It's full of sulfuric acid. I take medical grade oxygen and I run it through an ozone generator. So it changes it from O2 to O3, which is basically supersaturating oxygen. Anaerobes can't live in an oxygenated environment. So those type of bacteria die immediately just from oxygen saturation. When you add that third molecule to it that changes it from O2 to O3, it now has an oxidizing effect. So it's like big scrubbing bubbles that go through your body. And the oxidation kills mold, fungus, parasites, bacteria, MRSA, Ebola, strep, mono, everything, Lyme disease.
Did you ever watch that Ebola movie? It was like a 2004 Outbreak.
Well, I think Outbreak's older than that.
Oh,
that was 90s? Like when I was a kid.
Was it 90s?
I don't know. I'm older than y'all. I think it was when I was a kid.
You're older than this?
I'm 42.
No way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
I won't either.
Yeah.
I hope I look half as good as you at 42.
Well, thanks. I have no health complaints. So we're doing pretty good.
With the knowledge you have, I hope not.
Right.
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Is that accredited to the natural remedies and
100%.
practices?
Yeah.
Where's your
I
practice
believe it.
at?
Main Street in Jinx.
Okay.
Come on, dude. She's only said it like 3 times.
Okay. Well, good. Say it again.
Yeah.
It's the case because
Main-
people are
Main
going to be
Street
wondering
Jinx.
it.
It's in the show
you know?
notes.
Okay. Let's let them know. Where is it?
In the show notes.
What's in there?
Main Street Jinx.
So that's Ozone.
What is that?
It's where her place is.
Is it Main Street Drinks?
It's almost the whole storefront. Give it a couple more months, and we're gonna have a Pilates studio.
That's right.
Ooh. Someone's listening.
And it's the Pilates studio is it's the only one like it in the country. It's got some really
I'm telling
cool
you,
stuff
right?
going
Me
on.
and my wife are both gonna be coming.
Awesome.
I feel bad because I left my ring in my gym shorts. And
Ooh.
Why do you take it off?
because when you're bench
Fired.
pressing it, I almost cut my finger
Cut your finger.
in half, and I'm like,
Oh.
I just put it in my pocket, and then I forgot because I saw it, and I was,
I don't take my ring off for nothing. If my finger comes off.
I had to get a new ring because my other one
Finger
just fell
comes off.
off.
It's better than what comes off if
My-
your wife catches you without your
right,
ring.
right. There you go. She
Right?
gets it.
Dude,
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. My dad is like that.
What?
You know, my dad can't take his ring off and hasn't been able to for as
Yeah.
long as I can remember. We've tried to take it off.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. It's
we
just like a
can't.
thing.
Like it has to be cut off. And
Ooh,
And he's like-
healthy.
he's like, yeah. He's like, that's it. I married your mom.
I'm married for life.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, that's kind of the way I feel. I'm like,
Oh,
it took me a while to get used to it. Now I just don't ever want to not get used to it. Now it feels weird not having it on. I'm like,
Well, I just got
Yeah.
a new ring because my other one, I could literally do this and it would fall off.
oh,
No.
So
I did the damn thing.
what?
We tied the knot.
Oh, nice.
that
That's
was supposed to
right.
be like
It's
2
a-
Fridays ago.
It's official as of yesterday.
Yay.
Yeah.
Wait, why as of yesterday?
Because that's when the paperwork was submitted and notarized and shit. Yeah.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on you.
Thanks.
So a newlywed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
28 hours.
Like just about 24 hours. Yeah. 28.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
I knew you could do it.
You know, I could
I
or
knew you could
would
do it.
or did
Could,
or have.
would,
Yeah.
all of it.
Mhm.
So, so Pure Health Collective,
Uh-huh.
you are the owner,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
I heard you say earlier you have 5 employees now.
Yes.
What's your favorite thing to do on your day to day? What you offer so many therapies. Obviously, you know, you're not doing all the therapies all the time.
I have a therapy assistant that runs the Ozone and Rife for me. So they're trained with my protocols. I can't be in all the places at once.
Right.
So
Right.
the Ozone and Rife therapy room is very, very busy. And so I have a therapy assistant that handles that. I have infrared Himalayan salt saunas. I have a therapy assistant for that. I have magnetic resonance therapy, a magnosphere, hyperbaric chamber. I have an ozone chamber. And so my therapy assistants run all of those things. So I do the biofeedback scanning, all the pH consultations. I do the auricular acupuncture. I do all the medical thermography imaging. And so my day is just a
blur
mess
of a lot of it.
Of all of it.
I got
yeah,
you.
exactly.
So what's the Rife?
So Rife is frequency therapy.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay. Yeah.
You thought you were
Gotcha.
going to be laughing.
I got your back.
You thought you were going to laugh
Oh,
while
like Matt
your
Rife?
problems away.
Yeah, it's
He's getting
it's-
canceled.
Have you
okay?
seen where they clip like a positive and negative into a voltmeter, whatever it's called? They clip it onto plants and it reads off
It's called a plant wave. I have one.
that, right? Yeah,
It
that's
tells
cool.
you how
I've
happy
seen
your
some-
plants are?
No, it changes the electrical current that the plant gives off into an audible noise. So you can see. I hooked it to a mushroom, and it's like like it's
No
like a happy like
way.
70s music. It's really fun.
Hey, you
I
two,
wonder
Dang,
why it
I
came
have to
out in
get
the
one of those.
70s.
You two
I
need
wonder
to-
what
right,
happened
right.
in the 70s.
you two need to collaborate on some social media
That'd be
videos.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's go to the nursery.
absolutely.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Man, I'd have a
Yes.
blast with that.
We can listen to your plants complain about who's in charge of them.
They're all dead.
Connect it.
All his plants are dead.
They'd be like, bang.
All my friends are dead. Push. No.
Oh my God. Okay, so back to Rife therapy.
Frequency.
Yes. So Rife is actually still a very taboo thing to even talk about. There's a man named Royal Raymond Rife in the late 30s that was doing research on unwanted cells. We'll just put it that way in the body. And he got to the
Like
point.
how she phrased that.
He got to the point where he was obliterating like 99% of all these people that were brought to him. And he got shut down. He got buried. They burnt his lab to the ground, like done. So it was
It's finger
not-
time.
Oh, it's just so I don't forget my question.
What does that mean?
It's kind of like a.
So he doesn't forget.
Yeah, I don't want to forget the question I have.
Oh, I thought
I used it in high school, you know?
Okay. I thought that was like,
it's not like as rude as raising your hand like this and staring at you. So it's just like, oh yeah.
It's so I can see it out of my peripheral and I'm like, I have a question.
It's like a notification on your phone.
Gotcha. Perfect. But it's on silent.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically anything that shows up on the biofeedback scan that needs to be removed from your body. So a parasite, a mold, a fungus, bacteria, Epstein-Barr, whatever. It goes on a treatment list and it's going to have a Rife frequency attached to it. So let's say you have a tapeworm. I would connect you to the Rife machine, which is little metal foot plates that you put your feet on. There's little brass electrodes. Most people will stick them in their upper part of their shirt so their hands are free to read a book or whatever. But with those 4 points of contact, your body creates a closed circuit. And for a tapeworm, most likely I would be running 727 hertz frequency sound wave oscillating between those points of contact. And that is outside the vibrational threshold of a tapeworm. So when a tapeworm is exposed to that,
trying to get away,
it vibrates at a really high rate. It loses all of its structural integrity. It breaks in a million little pieces, and then I flush it out of your body with the ozone. So it's like targeted killing, and then the ozone comes out, and it's how I detox you.
So I'm going to slightly transition from the unwanted cell area.
So you're not trying to obliterate a body, you're trying to obliterate a tapeworm. I love it. Sorry.
It doesn't damage any
I can almost
cells.
guarantee you, at least, probably not her, but all 3 of us have some sort of worms and parasites.
Absolutely.
All
Everybody
in,
does.
Through us like crazy. And some are good. They do okay things. Some of them pull like some toxic metals out of your system, but most of them are terrible and they're parasites for a reason.
They're bad, and they release toxins. So you have these really pretty blue eyes. So I want to talk about your blue eyes for a minute.
Yes.
So
thank you,
Not
Dad.
a good thing.
Yeah,
It is to me.
You're what's called a lymphatic type. And your body's lymphatic system is its garbage truck. So its job is to cruise around, grab toxins from mold, from parasites, from fungus, bacteria. They produce toxins and they pump them into your body 24 hours a day, right? It's toxin factory.
Right.
Blue-eyed people, it's like I walked out to your garbage truck and I took 3 of your tires off. So your body does a great job of rounding things up, but it really struggles with eliminating the toxins from the body. So blue-eyed people, they don't necessarily get sick more often, but when they get sick, they tend to spike a higher fever. They're more prone to febrile seizures when they're children.
Like 105 on average, like when I get sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's always high.
And then as you get older, your body becomes touchy. So maybe you had pineapple for breakfast every day for 30 years of your life. And then this morning you eat pineapple and something weird happens. You get a rash, or your heart beats fast, or you feel dizzy, or
Bumps
you've got
in the back
hives.
of your throat.
Yep, exactly. And you did not suddenly develop a new allergy overnight. That did not happen. What has happened is you don't detox well. So your toxin levels max out to a certain point where your body gets tipped over into hypersensitivity and you start having these huge exaggerated reactions to things that are not an actual allergy. And so that's a cue that you need to be detoxed. When a lymphatic type person's lymph is completely overwhelmed, they have skin reactions and they get respiratory issues. They get asthma, they get bronchitis, a cough, nasal congestion, sinus congestion. Their nose drips all day long for no reason. And it's just their body screaming for a detox. So with
I know
your
where
blue
I'm going
eyes,
on Monday.
you can make the appointment on Monday and I'll see you in May.
Oh, okay.
That's usually, I feel like, the
I'm
way
okay
it
with
is.
that. I'm okay with that.
No, hold on.
That's fine.
Are you okay with that?
Am I okay with what?
Seeing him in May.
What I always tell people is ask to be put on my cancellation list and you can get in much faster that way. So I joke that we're scheduling into May, which is true. But
as you as a business owner, are you okay with scheduling new patients in May? Or would you like to be able to schedule patients within 30 days?
Unless I'm going to fractionate my body and like propagate more of myself, I don't see how that's
You figured
possible.
that out.
You have
But you
returning,
almost
get back on the
returning
podcast.
clients,
have to,
correct?
though.
You have returning clients, correct?
Yes, I
So-
see entire families. And
See-
this is my like the medical model, you have to come back like every 6 months to refill your prescriptions, all of this. I have to figure out what's wrong with you, get you feeling well and release you into the wild because there's people waiting for those appointment times. So my entire business model is based on you not needing me. I have to get you feeling better and get you out living your life because there's somebody waiting to come in.
So let's say you see him on Monday
Yes.
and that was a scheduled appointment.
Mhm.
Then what?
I would see you on Monday. It depends on what appointment you do. If you just come in for pH, you'll have a pH follow-up in 9 weeks. There's 4 corrective supplements I put you on that are included in the fee for the visit. You take them for 9 weeks. We bring you back in, check it again, and I monitor you until you're corrected. And that usually takes 3.5 months or so, 4 months for some people. If you come in for the biofeedback scan, we're going to have a treatment list for Ozone and Rife. And you would come in once a week for an hour, and you would do that 4, maybe 5 times for me to clear the list of everything that's in your body. So they're 2 different appointment types. A lot of people choose to do them simultaneously. So they're coming in for 4 to 5 weeks once a week, and then a visit in 9 weeks.
So my doctor, my kid's doctor, the pediatrics, they're like that too. They book forever out. My eye doctor, one of my clients too, they're booked months out. Like if I'm trying to get in with them as a new patient, good luck. You know, when you find someone that does what they do really well, like those doctors, they are the product to some degree, right? Like they are the service. You can only replicate them so much.
Sure.
And you can only delegate so much before that's it. Like you have to bring in on another doctor. And then that doctor can then delegate more. And then you just kind of build, you have 3 trees now instead of 1 tree.
Sure.
That's why I asked earlier about how she runs the multiple different therapies.
Right. So, I mean, that sucks to wait 6 months because not me in particular, but if I'm, one of the listeners, I'm like,
sure.
Well, I'd love to come see you, within 30 days or 60 days even,
I would say that that's entirely possible because I have a cancellation list. There's a lot of people that have family emergencies or something comes up and they can't keep the appointment and they cancel. And so I have a list of people that get in immediately.
You do that too?
Go ahead. No, whenever I was in that industry, that's the way she was set up. I mean, you could, like she said, you could call right now if all you want, but we'll see you in May. And like she said, cancellation list. And again, setting an appointment out, like for you, hey, I'm gonna set up a new appointment, right? And this is just, I think, humans in general. But you set an appointment out for May. When May comes around, you probably forgot about that appointment. Right. It's on your calendar, but you kind of forgot about it. Maybe schedule some things around it. Like she said, there's a family emergency. Something happened. This was 6 months ago. This is a priority. There's a possibility that you can't make that appointment. So somebody that might have called 3 days ago is going to be one of those first people who's like, well, yeah, I just thought about this yesterday. So that's what would happen for us whenever I was in the industry is, hey, somebody who called a week ago because they're still interested, still fresh. It's not that that person's not interested at this point, but they're like, well, I can't make it for whatever reason. Schedule me back out, put me on the cancellation list. And it kind of works that way where, at least for her, she was like she's the product of the whole thing. But being able to book out that far, actually, she used it to a huge advantage. She's like, I get to plan all my time off and I have nothing to worry about. Like I literally have my return customers that like you, she had people to help serve them.
Well, that's the other thing. Like if you, let's say I saw you a year ago and you're perfectly healthy, you have no issues, and then you get strep throat. Okay. You can call my office and say, hey, Dr. Mindi, I've got strep throat. And I'll say, come on in and do Ozone and Rife. You can get in an hour later for all the therapies that I would actually use to correct what you have going on. So there are a lot of people that are waiting for their appointment and they know what's wrong with them. They have a medical diagnosis of some sort. They know what the issue is, and I can go ahead and plug those issues into the protocols that I have, and they can start therapies before I ever even see them if they have a diagnosed condition and they know what the issue is. I want to see them to do my own testing because the way I do it is completely different than the medical community. But they don't necessarily have to wait or suffer. And there's been so many times when someone is very sick and they don't have a lot of time, and I'll stay late. I'll work on my day off. I'll come in on the weekend. So I don't just let people, I care, basically.
She's a small business owner.
I will make it happen if I get to.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I can't tell you how many small business owners that just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, they went into business because they're tired of working at their job.
Right.
They didn't go into it because they love what they do and they really love business.
Right.
And they have a craft behind that.
I do have one question.
So I can appreciate how I'll tell everyone, I'm like, I appreciate how you give a shit and what you do.
Yeah.
And you're not just like, oh, I'm in here because I want a business for a tax write-off, or I'm in here for a business because I don't want to work for somebody else, or, like.
When I do my initial appointments, like I said, they're 2.5, sometimes 3 hours long. And I get to know you as a person, your life, your kids, your stressors, what you're going through, because I can't effectively help you if I don't know you as a person.
How many patients do you have?
At any given time or total?
Active patients that
Active?
see you, like they may not see you every day, but they come in routinely, like once, twice a year.
Probably maybe 600.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
People.
awesome. That's
a
awesome.
lot.
Yeah, I see whole families. Mom will come in and she has great results. So she brings all of her grown children in and then their families. And so I see huge, huge families. And what's really interesting is the paradigm has kind of shifted. I have a ton of RNs. I have 4 or 5 nurse practitioners. I have 2 cardiologists. I have a neurosurgeon. Like a lot of medical career people. And I always joke that I'm their dirty little secret because they would never tell anybody that they work with that they see a naturopath. I have 2 pediatricians that I see their children.
Because in Western communities, it's all medicine.
Yeah.
You know, hey, you're not feeling well, your stomach hurts, go take a Tums. You know,
Sure.
if you have diarrhea, okay, well then go take a Pepto-Bismol, whatever, right? You have a headache, go get some Tylenol. It's always like feed you with a pill, you know, instead of like, well, let's try to get down to the root cause. Let's try to use something that's natural, that's not going to destroy the stomach lining or whatever it is, you know? And so it's uncommon. Like, I still don't understand why your space is so uncommon. There's so many doctors, so many MDs, like, oh my God, Utica Park Clinic, for example, like in St. John's, St. Francis, there's family doctors all over the place, but
well, it just hasn't been
not
taught.
taught.
It was taught. It was like almost taught
but
out
it's
of
not
our
like
stuff.
this stuff is new.
No, are you kidding? It's
It predates
thousands of
medicine.
years old.
It doesn't make money.
It doesn't make money.
That's the truth.
But why can't it? Why can't pharmaceutical companies start producing natural remedies?
'Cause you can't patent it.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe.
For example, I have women that come in and they're on progesterone cream, right? The progesterone cream is made from the root of a wild yam, but you cannot patent a wild yam and make money. So they add a whole bunch of pharmaceutical fillers that people with the MTHFR gene can't process. It's going to cause them a whole bunch of other issues. And they sell it to you. But if you
I'm about to pull up my gene stuff.
the root of the wild yam, it's what progesterone cream is made from. Like metformin is made from the berberine plant. You can put people on berberine or dihydroberberine depending on the severity of their diabetes. Like everything that is pharmaceutical was sourced from a plant originally.
Isn't like Valium, valerian root?
Yes.
Something like it's crazy.
Yep.
All of it.
Testosterone.
Testosterone would be the wild yam also. Your progesterone is your master hormone. So if you have a lot of progesterone, like good amounts of progesterone, it's going to regulate the production of pregnenolone, estrogen, and testosterone. So it doesn't matter that there's, more male or female hormones. None of that stuff matters. You have to have good progesterone levels. And the wild yam cream is natural progesterone. And there's no known toxic dose of progesterone. So if your body doesn't need it, it just excretes it. So when I have men that come in and they're like, oh, I have low T, I tell them to just try some wild yam.
That's crazy.
One question.
And this isn't canned yam.
Isn't
Like
what?
a can of yam.
No.
That's
Well,
I
mean,
guarantee you
it's
it's
the same
GMOs,
plant.
by the way.
It's the same plant, but it's just in cream form. You alternate between your wrist, your abdomen, and your inner thigh. You apply it every night.
Yeah, I remember some of this stuff. It's been a while. But all I know is I trust this way more than anything.
Yes.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, what did I tell you guys? I think a few weeks ago, I was having headaches. And what did I say? I was like, well, I'll go to the chiropractor before I go to the medical doctor. Like, I'll go somewhere else before I go to like.
Did it work?
Yeah. I mean.
Who'd you go?
Kendrick.
See? Okay, cool.
He's like, hey, you got way too much stress going on in your neck and your shoulders. You need to do a little of this, a little bit of that. And, fix me up. He's like, I'll see you in 3 weeks. And headaches are gone. But realistically, the first thing I did was start drinking a ton of water. I was like, first thing, I'm having these headaches. I'm just dehydrated. And all that I learned from when I worked, and I was just like, water. Sure, that's the thing. And then afterwards, I told my wife, I was like, man, I just feel off. Something's a little dizzy. You know what? Maybe my minerals are off. So I took a little bit of minerals and I was like, okay, maybe this will help. So I went through like this whole thing in my own head of what I remember. Now, this was almost 10 years ago now, but.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, but I just, anything I could do to avoid going to a medical doctor.
And
was it.
That's not to say that I am against modern medicine.
Oh,
no.
It
saved millions of lives. There is a time and a place for it. I think a lot of times it's overused. Yep. If my child, there's been twice, my daughter's 6, my son's 13, my daughter's 6, and there's been twice where what I have done for her didn't work. And so she has a pediatrician. I took her into the pediatrician. We don't see eye to eye, but he likes to tease me and I like to tease him back. So it's a good relationship. And she needed antibiotics, genuinely needed them. So I will put my child on antibiotics if it's something that is what I'm doing is not working. 99% of the time, what I do works and I don't need that. So I try what I can do first. And I'm not opposed to seeing a pediatrician if that's what my child needs to get better.
But some people, they swing too far one direction. They're like, oh, never natural. It's all, doctors know the best. And then it's like, doctors don't know anything. It's all natural. I'll never take a pill.
Yeah, you break an arm, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Some people are like, they break their arm. They're like, I'm not going to the doctor. I'll just,
I'm
good.
I had 2 NICU babies. One was in NICU for 11 days. One was in NICU for 17 days. And they would not be here if it wasn't for modern medicine and the doctors. And I'm grateful for that. So I'm not against medicine. I just think there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What questions do you have for us?
Oh, well, I'm curious how you guys all met each other.
They have a longer story than I do. So I met him almost 3-4 years ago. I basically chased him down. And I was like, hey, you need marketing. Hey, you need marketing. Hey, you need marketing. And I'll do it a 4th time. Hey, you need marketing. And then he finally was like, God, finally, I'll just shut up and you can do it. So we did it. And then that evolved. And then met this guy, this cool dude. He started a clothing brand, an e-commerce brand. And we worked together on that for a little while. And
that's cool.
That was about 1.5 years ago. And then they have a long story.
Yeah, we just known each other forever since kids.
And then you guys just thought, hey, let's sit around and talk and let other people listen.
That was his idea.
That was his idea. And we just decided, hey, we'd like to talk and drink beers or coffee or whatever. Yeah, why not?
That's awesome.
And it's a great way to meet people on just like a very relaxed, like, don't get me wrong. We've all been in those networking events and stuff and they're great, but there's a lot of people. And you're constantly trying to just make sure you maximize on this opportunity, right? Or whatever. And here it's like, well, let's just sit down. Let's just get to know you, figure out why you got into what it is you want to do instead of, hey, what did you do? Because I want to go meet this guy or this and that, and it's just a great way to network, to get to know people and frankly, to get to know people in Tulsa.
Yeah. And I feel like if you go to networking events, like to carry on with what you were saying, you usually have a goal of like, I'm going to at least meet 5 people and I'm going to walk out with at least 1 to 2 good connections. Well, you spend 20-30 minutes with each one of those 1 to 2 connections. And then the rest of the time is just trying to mingle to figure out who you're going to vibe with that you like, that you're like, oh, this is a good connection. And so like, this is a good opportunity for us to like learn, like we're learning from you just as much as you may be learning from us. And it's a great way just to meet new people in a setting to where it's okay. Well, now maybe whatever we're learning, everyone else can listen and watch it in as well. So we're just multiplying the amount of kind of networking experience. So forget going to networking events, listen to the Brews Business Podcast, because you're going to listen to all the different kind of people and their experiences and their journeys and professional and personal standpoints and things that are just going on in life. And right.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah. It was a business that just turned into friendships and just kind of worked out. And yeah, Braden got us a cool little studio here and we just haven't shut up.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes you talk a little too long.
Yeah, it's been fun. We've met some great people.
Oh, yeah.
It's really awesome to, I would say, as opposed to 10 years ago, 95% of my closest friends are all business owners. And because they understand like the struggle, the late nights, the crazy hours, they understand. So it's nice to have.
They get it.
Yeah.
They get it. And I love that you say that because that's, so in the very beginning episodes, we used to ask that question a lot. It's just, how do you know if you're hanging out with the right people? How do you know if you're hanging out? And that's a question that a lot of us ask ourselves constantly because we're like, for one, we're in business for ourselves. So like our success depends on ourselves. So as we all know, like you got to make sure you surround yourself with people who are, they're blowing you out of the water. So that way it feels like you constantly have to be pushing and you constantly have to be moving.
You're the sum of your closest 5.
Right. And with that, I've realized actually just 3 weeks ago, a month ago, one of our friends started his business as a barber, and he's like the only friend I have now that's not that wasn't a business owner, entrepreneur of some sort. And it's like, man, I have nothing against any of you guys. Like, I still love you guys as friends, but the reality is I just don't have anything to connect with you anymore. Like, there's certain struggles that you just don't get. Like, have you had to make payroll at the end of a week whenever you can't even pay your bills at home? You can't even buy groceries. Like, have you had to do that yet? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, yeah, that's like, you hang out with the right people, and maybe they haven't got quite there, but they get what you're going through. They just lost that big client. They just had to stay up all night to make sure they were ready for whatever. Like, they had to shuffle their wife and their kids and all this to make it. It's like, it's completely different than just, hey, I went and clocked in today and then I clocked out and I came home and I disconnected. It's like, disconnected. Yeah, like 6 years ago. Like, vacation? What's that? You mean work away? Like, I'm just working from vacation. I'm not on vacation type thing. So it's like, it's really nice to connect with people like ourselves, where it's like, yeah, we're all at different stages in business, all in different stages of life. But in the grand scheme of things, you understand, like, that spectrum is really relative to your business. That spectrum is really just relative to everything. But when it comes down to it, you get it that sometimes we used to have a saying, we used to say it a lot in our business when we first started. It's like, you're going to have to eat shit. Use the big spoon. It's plain and simple. And we get it as business owners. Like, you're going to hit that point. Just use the big spoon, get it over with, and move on. Yeah. You know, and it's fun.
The trend right now is like, go out and be an entrepreneur. Why work for the man when you can make the same amount of money, or I'm sorry, more money, and have your own freedoms or more time or whatever working for yourself?
You have to pay more.
And I'm like,
it's not for the faint of heart, for sure.
I'm like, not. It's definitely not. I'm the one that just, I mean, I say that, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't encourage people to get into business. Not anymore. I'm more married to this than I am to anything else in my life. Like, I was talking with D-Bone last night, the other night. And he was like, well, you know, I want to get into the business. You know, I want to own part of it or whatever. I was like, do you really? Because if you own part of this business, if you buy in, you know, like, I'm holding you accountable in how you handle your finances and what your credit score is. Because if we need, you know, capital, it's now going to involve you. If you're a certain percentage of the business that you own, then, you know, I was like, you're also going to get distributed, you know, certain tax documents. So your personal income is going to be affected by that, and what you owe or don't owe, or, you know, you're going to have to pitch in for some of that, or the business is going to have to pay for some of that. And you're going to have to, like, it's a whole endeavor. It's not just like, we're in business and we get to make some money and work for ourselves and make our own time. And, you know, like, you don't get that. Like,
that's what everyone thinks.
That's what everybody thinks. That's what we all thought, I think.
And you want to, and I told him, I told D-Bone, I was like, hey, because we have the relationship that we do, grow with me, don't have the title of owner, and still reap the benefits. Yeah. I'll still give you profit sharing.
Paycheck,
I'll still give you the paycheck. You know, you help me still manage the finances of your department. Like, that's fine, but let me handle the rest of the responsibilities that comes with actually being on paper an owner.
So with all that, do you do this all by yourself, your whole HR, officing, everything? Or do you have, you know, a spouse or a partner or somebody that that helps you run your 11 therapies, your 5 employees, and also your 2 businesses that I believe are coming up off the ground? Like, who helps you do that?
So until January of 23, it was just me, and I was doing all of it. I do my own websites. Oh my God. Like, everything, all of it.
That's awesome.
And then my husband started working in my office 2 days a week. He was able to arrange his schedule where he could keep his full-time job. I would love it if he was with me full-time, but he loves his job. And so he works in my office 2 days a week, and he handles payroll. We have HR. We have a payroll company. He handles the staff, vacation requests, all of that stuff. The
back end.
Mm-hmm, and I dream up what we're going to do next.
You're the gas. And is he the brakes?
He's the brakes. Yeah. I'm like, and then, I am a big dreamer. And once I set my mind to something, like, it will happen. Like, there's not, it will happen. That's kind of like it will happen.
We get that. You're like, once it's in there, we're screwed, guys. Yeah, that's it. It's happening. Yeah. That's funny.
You can't tell me no. I'm going to do this. I'm sorry. I've even tried to tell myself no. And it's,
right. We talk about that all the time, of how the spouses really, like, that they're, man, they're the unsung heroes back there, you know,
Yes.
because they do step in. I know in your business, in my business, multiple times I've heard Becca out there packing stuff. It's like, there's just been times where you count on your spouse to do stuff. And it's like, they didn't agree to this crap.
Yeah.
But they're in it, you know, they're in the thick of it with you guys. And
so glad
they love
this.
it. For some reason, they love it too. You know, they're like, yeah, but they're sharing those stresses of all the stresses that you try to say, I'm going to leave this at home tonight or at work. And then you don't, you go home and you're talking about it and you're dealing with it. And it's like, that's why I asked, you know, you're doing a lot. I know from our perspective, Braden's got a brand new wife, brand new baby, you know, he's juggling a business, got employees, brand new. You know, and
you know, the same thing.
No.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
My music is like a 90s time capsule.
It's the newest Lil Wayne song.
Okay, no. Yeah, no wonder we don't know.
Definitely.
Sorry. If it's not, what was it, Lil Wayne's? Oh, there was a big one back in the day. The big old 90s, early 2000s.
Got Money?
I don't remember. Anyways, but I just bring that up.
Lollipop.
Maybe that's what it was.
A million.
The Millie, maybe that's what it was. I don't know. One of those very earlier songs of his. Anyways, I bring that up because, like I said, it's just we realize from a business owner standpoint, you know, being able to relate. Your friends that aren't business owners don't get that, but then your friends that are business owners, like, I know I've asked Braden, how you juggling? Like, how you juggling the baby, the family? And I know I say juggling because I know he's juggling. Like, we're all juggling, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, we just jokingly say it because thankfully we have the luxury to juggle those things. But at the same time, it does come at a cost. You know, there's a price we're paying for those things. And I know none of us, I feel like, would regret it, you know, having the ability to make those dreams come in reality. Like you said, once you get something in your head, like it's game over.
It's done. And I say my husband's the brakes. He's the most supportive, encouraging person I've ever met. When I was a hygienist and I was thinking, okay, this is a secure paycheck, that I make really good money. I see my patients, I leave. Like, that's it. I don't have to worry about anything. Stepping into the unknown, I went without a paycheck for almost 3 years. Every penny I made, I invested it back into what I was trying to build. And so we were a one income household that entire time with 2 little kids. So that I could
why do you do
make
that?
this happen.
Why did you go through 3 years of your life? You could say financially struggling or just making it. Like, you had, I assume, one income household.
Yeah. And he has a great job.
And even if he was paid well, like, you're still missing out on just you, like your own career and your own financial benefits and what you can contribute to the household. Like, you know, your family also paid part of that price for you to go out to work and to sacrifice that income to what? To what? The greater vision, the bigger picture, the end goal,
I'm a very intuitively led person. And when God tells me, like, this is what you're supposed to do, I call it breadcrumbs. Like, I'm just been following the breadcrumbs, and it leads me to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I never at any point said, hey, I'm going to start naturopathic school and become a naturopath and open this huge office. That was never even on my radar. I was just trying to be able to be equipped to answer people's questions as a hygienist. And this is was supposed to happen. Like, I feel divinely led, divinely pulled, divinely called, and I'm just doing what I'm told. It's basically how I feel about it. I don't feel like it was ever a conscious decision on my part.
That's well said.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I feel like that's same here. I mean, I'm on a one single household or single income household. You know, my wife homeschools the kids, and everybody's like, yeah, I was like, why do you guys do that? You know, your wife could go to school, or your kids could go to school and your wife could go to work. And I'm like, yeah, have you met us? First of all, that's not us. Like, that's not. But at the same time, it's like, why? It's like, I don't know. My wife just felt that the kids weren't supposed to go to school, so they didn't. And I was like, hell yes, I hate public school. This is fantastic. I can teach my kids to be business owners. I can teach my kids how to really live in life.
How to do their laundry, do their taxes.
Right. Do
cook for
real
themselves.
Things.
Be bilingual.
Are you? There's a huge one.
There's a viral video going around on TikTok right now.
I teach my wife.
And he was like, the whole public school system has got us into what? What am I learning? Like, I'm never going to learn the whatever theorem and this algebraic
I use that in business.
Like, do you really use everything that you learn? I mean, to some degree, like, it's a general knowledge and that's why you learn everything, you know, but by the time you get out of high school, now what? you know, and even when you start college, you still have those same core classes where you're just building on those same things. And, but anyways, he was like, you know, I get it. I move out and I go to college, or even after college, I'm like, I still don't know how to do my taxes. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about buying a house. I don't know anything about credit cards and financing. And you know, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know how to cook, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. That's why my kids are homeschooled.
I don't know anything about health.
I don't know any of that, but you know what? My kids will know that. I'm gonna have to learn it with them.
Yeah. If I was smited off the earth today, my 13-year-old son could pay the bills and cook for himself. He could probably go 4 or 5 years before anybody knew he didn't have parents.
Dang, that's awesome.
He's been doing his own laundry since he was 6. He can cook, he can bake. Like, he's
Remy,
completely
you're slacking,
self-sufficient.
girl. I'm gonna get you on that laundry train. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, she does make her own breakfast. I mean, sometimes she was like, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna cook breakfast today," and obviously, I'm just supervising just to make sure everything's good. But
yeah,
I mean, at 5 years old, the girl makes breakfast for a family of 5.
Yep. I feel like that's my job, is to prepare him to be independent if something happens to me.
Yeah.
And so that's just the way it is since he was a little bitty guy.
I have something random that I just found out. The other day, I got real curious and wondering if there's a correlation between. Well, hold on. Let me take a step back. I was wondering, why do we go to school 40 some odd weeks out of the year? Why do our kids do that? It's partially turned into a daycare system, but outside of that, like, why 40?
Teaching you to be a wonderful
employee.
There
nice
you go.
little rat.
Do you know where that stemmed?
Factory worker.
Do you know where that stemmed from?
Well, the Rockefellers originally.
I mean, how far back
are we
you want to
going?
go, bro? How deep down the rabbit hole do you want to be?
You don't tell me.
You're talking.
When did that start?
I don't know how much time we
1920s.
got.
Real quick. So 7 minutes. We have 5 minutes on this and 2 minutes of closure.
Like
Oh, that was a joke about, like, we could talk about the Rockefellers all day.
Okay. So long story short, I did a little bit of research. The 1850s, late 1800s, when the Industrial Revolution happened, they were like, we need more of the workforce. And so the school system back then was a 12-week out of the year school system. 6 of those had to be consecutive. The other 6 were just whenever. And so the industrial revolution was like, hey, we need more people in the workforce. And so the school system evolved into where they were required to go to school a certain number of hours throughout the day, certain times of
So the
the
parents
week,
were bored and went to
stuff.
work.
And so the parents were then able to go to work, leaving their kids into school, which then trained the kids into a clockwork system. You show up at 8, you get out at 3, at 12 o'clock, you have lunch, you know, between then and then, this is what you do. This is what you do next, and blah, blah, blah. So then when you get out of school and you get into the factories, you same thing. You show up at 8 o'clock.
You
It's
clock
an
in,
easy transition.
you take
See?
your lunch,
And
and
now-
you clock out.
And it slowly affected the whole rest of the world. And there's some part of the Europe that was in the midst of that industrial revolution that it was affected over there too. But I was curious. And so I was almost flabbergasted, because I was like, there's an actual correlation in this happening. Cause I'm like, why do we work 40, 60 hour
It doesn't
weeks?
feel right.
You know, because like we don't have any time to do anything. And every weekend, I'm like, I just want one more day. I want one more day to spend with my family. I want one more day to sleep a little bit longer, because I only sleep probably 4 hours a night. Literally 4 hours a night. I could probably look at my
new
watch.
baby. That's unfair.
Dude, Devin's on that same board too, man.
You're exactly.
He's got twins.
It's unfair.
My brother's got
You
twins.
guys
He's
have
in my
brand new
office right now.
babies.
But still, she's about 6 months old. Still don't sleep, which is okay.
It's a brand
She's
new baby.
It's okay. It's fine. But anyways, whatever. So like,
She was in a nice, warm, very dark place with a nice little heartbeat, making her sleep all the time she wanted. And now she's barely 6 months in.
she's
And you
adorable.
expect her to just be ready and
She's
sleeping
beautiful.
24/7.
You should get her like an EMF blocker to hang on her crib. There's a lot of little kids that can't sleep at night because they're sensitive to
She can't
EMF.
sleep at night. She doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your-
She'll
Your
wake up
smart
random.
meter, your smart meter on your house can keep them awake at night. So
What's
if you
that?
get, like they used to have the analog meters to, like, the meter readers would come out and read like your electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have smart meters, but they're
Ah.
huge and they give off like 140,000 times their amount of radiation.
If
in
you knew
each
the amount of tech
pulse.
that I have here and at my house, you'd probably throw up.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. She may
That's
be
the truth.
sensitive to that, and that's why she can't sleep. So, like, this is an EMF pendant. I have it on my phone. I have it on all my Actually, I have a whole house EMF blocker that makes it a EMF free zone in my house. But there's
That's
a lot of
cool.
little children that are really sensitive to that, and if you get them like a little pendant, or like it's almost like a little teething necklace that's made from shungite,
Really?
then a lot of times they'll go right to sleep. They're just sensitive to it.
The more you know.
You'll see those little things.
Hey, that's perfect timing on that Industrial Revolution thing.
Hey,
that's 5 minutes.
I mean, you kind of capped it, but
yeah,
sorry,
but
didn't let
we
us
don't want to get started on that.
But we couldn't. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Anyways, that was my whatever.
All right, one question for her.
Last questions.
Go. One question for her.
Oh no, I mean I know everything about her now.
Yeah, I've been here a while.
Yeah, we hung out before you guys. Yeah, we were. I moved stuff around the studio.
I really, really wish I could have got here sooner.
Pun. Because it's sooner. You showed up sooner.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was like, I'm confused. I don't have any questions. Honestly, I love what you do. Mm-hmm. Frankly, for my wife and I, we're that hippie type people. Like what you do. I wish more people understood that there are better ways to get healthy than going to put a Band-Aid on a problem. There's a problem. And at least whenever I was in that field, that industry, she would always say, you didn't get it here overnight. We're not going to get you out of it overnight, which is a lot of the reason why people go towards medicine, modern medicine, because yes, you feel better, instantly, but I love what you do and I keep doing it. And, like you said, you have families that come to see you. That's huge. I know the same thing for her. Whenever I was in that industry, is like, you have families of people that just care about things a little bit more. You can go buy organic all you want, man. But the reality is you need to go see someone that's actually can read what's going on in your body. So again, I don't have any questions. I'm sure I could come up with many, but I love what you're doing. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. I'm really grateful to have been asked to be here.
Very excited. So we'll
hold on. I got one question.
Yep.
For everybody listening, what is one thing that they could start doing today to change their health from your perspective? Just one simple thing.
I would say drinking half their body weight in ounces of water and putting minerals in it.
What kind of minerals?
I use Celtic salt or pink Himalayan salt. Now, it's not going to be iodized, so you do have to supplement with iodine if you want essentially a working thyroid. But
and iodine, you can just rub on your skin and it absorbs through that, right?
You can do Lugol's. The one that I have in my house, in order for your thyroid to function, it has to have iodine, potassium iodide mixed, tyrosine, which is an amino acid, and it has to have selenium. So the product that I use in my office has all three of those. But at a bare minimum, you need the iodine because the healthy salt, the white table salt, is full of chloride, which blocks your iodine receptors. So it will make your thyroid not function by using it. And it makes your kidneys struggle, which is going to jack with your blood pressure. So I always tell people get white iodized salt out of their house completely and switch to Celtic or pink Himalayan salt. But drinking their water, putting salt in, getting a good shirt soaking sweat 3 or 4 days a week are probably some of the best things you can do for your health.
Just like a pinch of salt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you can taste salt, you put too much. Just a little bit.
That's cool.
The more you know.
If you can taste it, it's too much.
She's over here salt baying her.
I know, right?
Just like
I carry a little salt shaker with me everywhere I go, a little Himalayan salt grinder.
Oh, that's cool.
When I go to the restaurants, the waiters are always like, "What is that?"
It's special.
I need to schedule an appointment. How do I get a hold of you? Can I find you on social media?
Yeah, you can go to purehealthcollective.com, and all my contact information is there.
Cool.
Okay. You're on Facebook, Instagram,
yep.
YouTube.
Facebook, Instagram. I have a TikTok. I started TikTok maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I don't know. There's maybe close to 30,000 people that follow me on there, but now the people are coming from everywhere.
That's awesome.
All over the place.
What's your TikTok handle?
Dr. Mindi, DrMindi.
Love it.
It'll be in the show notes.
That we're going into more of that realm of that natural medicine, the homeschooling, all that.
That's me.
I love it, man.
Yeah, there's probably 30% of my clientele are homeschoolers and homesteaders.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what I want to be, a homesteader.
I mean, dude, it's just a matter of when I buy my property. I'm trying to work that way right now.
Hey man, I got the property now.
And everybody's like, "Why'd you start a business?" Because I want to be financially free. I just want to be on my farm and get my paycheck every month.
Yeah,
that's all I need to do. I'll go out here, start a whole permaculture farm. I'll just live on that forever, and I'll be fine. Yes. And then when the world goes to shit, I'll just be on my farm and won't even know.
Yeah, no worries about me.
That'll be so cool.
I've been self-sustaining for the last 5 years.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the way I grew up. And when you're young, you want to go out and see the world.
Yeah.
And then you realize, my grandparents and my parents, they weren't too far off the mark.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I want a place out in the woods with some land. And
it's
but traveling's nice,
Yeah, right.
I love to travel.
Yes.
I do love to travel.
Like to experience it, but you need
home to be somewhere. Right. And I love that you say that because that was literally me. So I grew up in the middle of nowhere out here in Oklahoma and very off grid, very like we slaughtered our own animals and had our own farm and all that. And it was great. But growing up, I was like, this just sucks. Like, there's nobody out here.
It's so
I have
much work.
no friends. Yeah, it's so much work. And I'm like, what do you mean I got to move the rocks that I moved yesterday? Like, crap like that, right?
Your parents did that too?
Oh, are you kidding me? I don't like them around that tree. Move them to that tree.
But you
And
just
he's
told
like,
me to
but
put it
Dad,
at that
I
tree.
just put him there. He's like, well, now we're going to move him to the tree in the backyard. And I'm like, this makes no sense. But now that I'm older, it all makes sense, right?
It's
Character
work
building.
ethic.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But
we had to do that.
you did. But
Yes.
then whenever I was like 16, I moved out because I was ready to get out of the middle of nowhere and get to the city. And then through the years of probably like 19 through 22-ish, I lived smack dab in the middle of Tulsa, and I hated it. I mean, I loved being in the middle of all of it because I was young, but I was like, I can't even fart out here without people knowing. Like, I want to start a fire. I want to like
blow something up.
Yeah. Like, I want to go outside and shoot my guns. I want to have some chickens. Like, I want to do these things, but you can't do that in the middle of town. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't for me. Mom and Dad, you guys knew what you were doing. Town's already way too close to your home. So we got to go a little farther, but dude, that peaceful country life is, that's how you want your kids to grow up, and they won't know it until they're older that's nice. But I love growing up. Like, I mean, walking around in the woods with a 22 as an 8-year-old kid, like, shooting some squirrels, and I'm going to go fishing today. And what are you doing? Oh, I got bored. So I started trying to shoot the fish. Like, what are you at 8 years old? That's not safe, but it's fun. And
they would just turn us loose and honk the horn when it was time for us to be home. They'd honk the truck horn, and we're like, okay, better head back.
Got to head back to the house.
Or it's getting dark. Oh no, we better get back before it gets dark.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
But now we've got child molesters on our street. Like, I've got one that's now looking at the kids at the bus stop when they get off 2 doors down from my house.
Dude, I
exposed himself to a mom picking up her kid.
Are you kidding me?
And I've got 8 cops in my neighborhood that are excited to get him.
I was gonna say, yeah, you do.
They're like, we going fishing, boys.
Oh my god,
we're going fishing. Hey, that's a good neighborhood. I'm just saying,
they're in our neighborhood family neighborhood Facebook group chat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I feel like out, at least I don't know, but out like where my parents are, you don't have child molesters, you just have crackheads.
Yeah.
As long as they see the guns a couple times, they stay off your property.
Yeah, they don't come near it.
Yeah. They see like, oh, the fences, those people, you don't mess with them.
They look at you.
Other houses are good. Yeah, they see an empty house too long, it's theirs. But
it's sad that the country's become like that. That's the way my hometown is too. There's drugs out there now.
Yeah, it's sad. It is. And I think I realized now as I got older, like, wow, I actually grew up with a lot of kids that lived that life. I just didn't realize it. I was sheltered. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like living in the country. There was no neighbors, nothing. My home life was pretty great, but I didn't realize it until I got older. I'm like, wow, there's actually a lot of these kids live this drug life, you know, their parents, and coming to school was their escape. And I didn't realize that. But now as I get older, I'm like, wow, that's really sad.
It is really sad.
But yeah, at the same time, I'm like, yeah, we're going to keep homeschooling our kids, and we're going to move out to the country. And Oklahoma is actually really relaxed when it comes to homeschooling. Yeah. There's no rules at all. You have like prove it to nobody, do nothing. They're like, we advise you to send a letter to the superintendent of your school district, but that's pretty much it. And it's like, okay, cool. And like you said, we can teach our kids all kinds of really cool things and
useful.
The other day I was at the library and I met a lady and she was with her 3 kids. And I was like, aren't you guys supposed to be in school? And the little boy's like, I'm homeschooled, like as happy as could be. Yeah. Super smart kid. And I was like, oh, that's cool, man. So are we, you know, and I just got along talking to him. And his mom's like, yeah, you know, just everything's school. Like, we're going to constantly be on the move. We can do this. We can do that. She's like, and everything is school. And I'm like, that's so true. That's what I love about it is, you know, for me, my kids, like, I can teach them every day a little bit more of how the real world works. Yeah, don't get me wrong. You need to know some of that stuff from school. Yeah. But if you teach you the right skills and the right character things, man, you got Google. And if Google goes to shit, you still got encyclopedias and you got math books and stuff. Like, you can figure it out if you just have the right oomph.
Have you seen, I can't think of that guy's name. He's on TikTok all the time. But he has the course or the app or whatever that's called The Real World.
Andrew Tate.
No, he's friends with him, but it's not
Justin
Andrew Tate.
Weller?
Maybe.
Beaver?
He's like,
who was he?
He's
look
like redheaded, or like he looks like he would be kind of redheaded. He was a construction worker.
Yeah, Justin Weller.
Okay, I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, he does The Real World. So I got the subscription for my 13-year-old. And so I do like crypto investing. I've been investing in crypto for like 5 years. And
are you?
I got a little bit, and I'll have a lot. I used to have a lot more, but I had to dip into it, so I kind of crapped it. But
so I got that subscription for my son, and I make him do it because he's learning about investing. He's learning about stocks. He's learning about crypto. And I'll ask him like all these random questions to test him on what he's learning, but he's learning like usable skills.
There's been kids that get on there like 14, 15 years old, and they'll pay off their parents' mortgage.
Yeah.
Because they've learned how to do e-com, or they've learned how to do crypto and follow charts and FX. And
I've got Ethereum.
That's called a
Bitcoin,
retirement plan.
You've got what?
Ethereum, Doge, and what's the other one?
Ethereum's the only one of value.
Oh, Bitcoin? Is that crypto?
You got Bitcoin? How much Bitcoin do you have? You probably don't have a whole Bitcoin.
Oh, no.
I think we're floating between like 36 and 38K right now.
Remember when it tanked to like almost 20?
Yeah. And then everyone was like buying. Remember when it was like 110?
Yes.
The whole market is crazy controlled between like, if you get in with these people, what they do is they build a bunch of hype on this crypto. They dump it, they dump it and pump it. And then they do this with all these different cryptos.
Yeah.
It's wow.
That's what happened to Doge, actually.
How do you guys have time for this? I thought you guys were business owners.
This wasn't another.
It's like you guys have hobbies.
Yeah. I'm over here watching crypto charts.
I'm sleeping like
hold the fire, sit on the deck.
And like, hold on, I'm trading crypto. I'm sleeping while I'm trading crypto.
That's so funny.
You got to do it when you got time.
When is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
You make time.
I'm time.
You into Forex at all?
Forex, no.
That's like trading currencies.
Oh, no.
Okay. I know a little bit about Forex. I made a little bit of money doing that, but not enough.
What do you mean trading currencies?
So you pin currencies versus other currencies.
Oh.
So like one will inflate, one will deflate, and then you're not really like, it's not like I take $100, which is equivalent to like 80 pounds. And then 80 pounds will turn into, you can move it to like the yen. You can just battle against it. And it just kind of goes off the GDP, goes off of inflation.
Oh,
you can get really in depth with it.
Dang, I tried to hold that one in.
That didn't work.
That sounds time consuming.
It is. I didn't have, one of my friends does it, and he made a lot of money doing it. And I tried to get into it, but I didn't have the patience for it.
Most everything that I hold is long-term investment. I had a bunch of stock. I was into stock of it originally. And then when I got into crypto, I sold all my stock, sunk that into crypto. And then
it's a lot more secure.
I've been doing this for probably close to 5 years now.
That's cool.
Mindi, thank you for joining us on the Brews Business Podcast.
Thank you for having me. This has been really fun.
We'll make some good content out of this and share it with you. And if you guys, for you guys who are listening in, if you got questions for Mindi, you can contact her on Facebook. You can follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And try to go more the natural path opposed to, the traditional Western medicine with pills and everything. Give some natural remedies a try if you're here in Tulsa, or if you're not and you want to travel, schedule that appointment and see Mindi. She'll be glad to help you.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty. See you guys.
Thank you.
Peace out.